So what do I think is the future for junior developers when we've got all of this AI coding coming along and we've got people saying that we're going to have superhuman coders soon? Well, my view on that is the way AI works at the moment, it's very good at solving very sort of self-contained development tasks. But what it's not good at is working on larger code bases. Okay. So even though we might get AI soon that can solve the hardest of leak code problems, like in my 30 years in the industry, how many times have I had to solve a leak code problem at work? Like not one time, literally not once. So there's also this hype around that we're going to have people who don't know how to code build applications. And what I've seen so far is that's somewhat true for very simple applications. But as the application becomes more complicated, you do need a coder who knows what's going on in the background to actually fix issues. Okay, so here's the main problem as I see it. If you look at any enterprise, you've got hundreds of software projects with many different programming languages, many different architectures. There's never a standard architecture. So, what I believe is this is going to be really complicated for any AI. There's lots of things that need to be resolved in the meantime, like the size of the code base, irregular architectures, actually setting up the tools so that AI can be enabled on these architectures is also going to be complicated. And then you've got infrastructure issues and what we call data governance. So, for example, most companies don't want their data to leave the premises. So, what's the potential opportunity for you guys then? Well, I see new roles being created, and that some of those roles will be things like project AI preparedness, or basically taking an existing project, creating some of the artifacts that are needed so that an AI can work on it. Um, there's going to be training, so taking existing developers and showing them how to use the new tools and how to take a project that doesn't use AI at the moment and to use AI in the future. So I think there will be some new roles. I'm not sure what those roles are called yet. It kind of reminds me when we used to have developers, and then you were a back-end developer and a front-end developer, and then the new thing that was full stack developer. And I think it's something like that. At the moment, I'm calling it AI-powered developers, but I think I could imagine in the future there are roles for this type of person that comes into a project and takes it from old school to new school. Okay. And then what we say, because I used to work in investment banking actually, is the trend is your friend. So for junior developers or people just starting out or people at university, I think this is going to be a very useful skill in the future. And it's one skill that's worth learning now because I see this, even if the whole market for software developers contracts, I think this market is going to grow inside that. So I would say keep that in mind that this technology that's very new at the moment and very unstable potentially is going to grow and that you need to be aware of it. So I would recommend that you stay on the edge of that and make it a part of what you watch on YouTube or Reddit or wherever. Then there's another thing I wanted to bring up, which is things in a way are kind of getting harder, not easier. Because like when I started out and I left university, you got a job as a C programmer. And then later on, for example, I went into Java, but then it was Java, but you needed to know these libraries, and then it was these libraries. And it was kind of like you got more and more niche even inside one thing. And that's what you guys have got to face at the moment is these really complicated potential tech stacks. So like as an architect, I know a lot of them and how they fit together. But when you're just starting out, you just know a little bit. And then on top of that, I think you're going to need to know how best practices around using AI coding tools. So in a way, I see it that you've got to know more than what I needed to know when I started. So I see it. as a potential opportunity. It's a very reusable skill set. It's not completely there yet, but when we do get it, you should know it, and then it's going to be reusable across different projects. And what I saw when I sort of first started out in the industry was, for example, I got into investment banking, but I had no investment banking experience. But I got in just because I knew Java, and they were looking for Java people all the time. And I see the same thing happening here, really, where uh, the big banks or insurance companies or whatever domain you think of, they're going to need people with the AI coding skills. And this could be a gateway for you to get into some of the more lucrative markets. Okay, so that's it. If you want to keep up with the way that AI coding's going, I'm trying to learn it myself. I'm trying to pass on as much as I can. Subscribe, and then you'll get all the updates to everything that I'm working on. Thanks very much.